toothpick effect. I mean, I'm not saying she has toothpick legs, but it makes them look too thin for the rest of her body. Because Meghan Markle went ham on the handkerchief hemline there for a while. Hey everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another fashion edition featuring her gold dress that she just wore in New York and her proclivity for ragged hemlines and why they were the wrong choice. I wanted to start by taking a quick look at the style profile of Meghan Markle. She has a skinny, thin body type with lanky and long limbs. Her shoulders are wider than her hips here, as you can see, which is a dominant body feature, meaning that it is prominent to the eye. So even if someone has curves or a rounder torso, if their shoulders are wider than their hips, it places them in the inverted triangle category. It is a priority when choosing silhouettes, same as those whose shoulders are narrower than their hips, like in a pear or spoon body type. The visual weight, not the body weight, is drawn to the wider point, so in this case it would be her shoulders. She also has a rather square torso because she lacks that well-defined waist, and she has a small bust. So although she is not exceptionally tall, visually she can lean into sort of spindly territory when taking into account all of her features, and the fact that her legs and arms are longer in proportion to her torso. Her silhouette tends to be either very V-shaped or very rectangular depending on how she dresses, but it doesn't have to be. She can bring balance to it, and the goals to balance her proportions would be to elongate her torso and neck, which will provide that balance, as well as de-emphasizing her shoulders. Because she is so thin, a great approach for her would be to create a waist through adding volume. So rather than a skinny belt on a tight garment, a peplum or a fit and flare dress that adds volume to her hips would balance out the shoulder and make it look like her hips come out, leaving her waist appearing more well-defined. Okay, hemlines, here we come. Get your scissors ready. Where the hemline hits is important. For example, if you have thinner legs or thicker legs, you will want your hemlines in different places. If you are short, you have less freedom than somebody who is tall in terms of how long or where it hits in the length of your leg. Because if you are a short person and your hemline hits you in the wrong spot, you're going to look even shorter or even stubby. If you're tall, you can really get away with a lot more in terms of how long you hem a dress or skirt to. And if your hemline has any sort of interest to it, like ruffling or tulle, it's asymmetrical, or it's a handkerchief hemline versus a straight hemline, it's going to draw a lot more attention to it than if it is straight. So let's look at some examples, because Meghan Markle went ham and it just did not serve her. So let's look at why. She has often gravitated towards this type of a hemline for whatever reason. Many people have thought perhaps she thinks her legs are her greatest asset and therefore she is consistently trying to draw attention to them. However, because she has a more boxy frame and her legs are so thin and long compared to her torso, it doesn't quite work well for her to draw attention to them, because it just shows how super thin they look in comparison to her torso, which happens to be a more rectangular, boxy shape. Personally, I'm just not a huge fan of uneven hemlines. I don't mind asymmetry sometimes, but it just doesn't work that great for me on a hemline. I would rather have asymmetry up here. I just want to take scissors to handkerchief hemlines. For the most part. For her, she wears heels, she's got these very skinny legs, it just looks so disproportionate. And here she's also pregnant in these two looks that I'm going to show to you with these handkerchief hemlines, so it makes it even more toothpick effect. I mean, I'm not saying she has toothpick legs, but it makes them look too thin for the rest of her body, and it just accentuates that. I mean, it's the same deal if you're short. You don't want to accentuate how short your legs are. You want to do things that make your legs look a little bit longer, because that can just make you look a little taller and have a little bit more of a slender look to your outfits. So it's the same type of thing. I feel like I have to announce this every time. I am not body shaming her. I am just talking about how an outfit impacts her look and her proportions, which we all have them. Many women out there have similar proportions to Meghan Markle. They need to know what looks good and what doesn't, just like we all do. So this just looks visually messy when you pair it up with everything else that's going on in her outfit. And I feel like hemlines like this, the handkerchief vibe, would look better with like flats or like in a casual setting. This is a professional engagement. She should not have been wearing this particular outfit on a professional engagement. She just shouldn't have. She did it again. Look, nude shoes where they don't belong. I get, we all have a pair of shoes that's most comfy, you know, mucho comfy. But you're working. You're getting photographed. You wear black shoes if you're in an all black outfit for the love of all things. This portion of today's video is just driving me bonkers. I cannot stand how this looks. This strong coat hem, and then these bits of weird fabric hanging, dangling down. Get some scissors and chop it off. And then here's this guy. He's definitely not asking how she's doing. And put on your dark shoes. You know, how hard can it be when it is common sense and you have millions of dollars to spend on your outfits? It's just driving me nuts. This particular one just looks so very messy. Your eyes are confused if they should look at the shoulder cap sleeve thing happening in the coat, which exaggerates her wider shoulders, the opposite of what she needs out of a coat or any outfit. Or if your eyes should look at the uneven hem all the way down by her calves. Why she slapped nude shoes on an all-black outfit is a mystery that I cannot stand. It just looks bad overall. And I mean, if you can't tell, she has on a skirt here and then a shirt, and the shirt hangs off of her baby bump. And so this is just not a polished look for a professional occasion. And this makes me believe, like, in the next pictures you're gonna see that she just wore this skirt as a dress later on, which is just something I think that, you know, we all tried out when we were like 12 and decided we couldn't leave the house like that and never tried it again. It's just weird. Overall, this messy look is just one where if you have access to tailors and stylists, there is no reason to leave the house for a professional engagement that will be photographed looking so very unprofesh. You know, even her bun is somewhat messy. I think half up hair suits her really well. It gives a lift away from the face of the hair to show her beautiful face, but it has the softness of it still coming down around her shoulders, which helps her shoulders not look quite as wide. So I feel like half up is like the perfect hairstyle for her, which you can do lots of fun and interesting things. You can do braids with it, you can do buns with it, you can do all kinds of cute stuff with half up hair, and it just would have been the best hairstyle for her. She could have made it like a signature thing if she played her cards right. These style of dresses are handkerchief dresses, which have pieces of fabric hanging down at different points, and usually it's 4 points because the skirt is actually cut into a square, and I find them to add visual weight to the bottom of a dress, which to me just looks a bit odd. I've never been a big fan of handkerchief hems. This is especially true though if you have an above average thickness or thinness to your legs, because you don't necessarily want people focusing on them, and when you have an uneven hem, your eyes are automatically drawn to it because it's a point of interest and, as I said, visual weight. Depending on where those longer pieces align, it can either be thinning or not to your overall look. I just feel that they are a casual vibe, and handkerchief dresses are totally fine if you're like going on a beach or vacation or you just want something to wear around. But if you're going on official duties like Meg here, a professional look would include a straight hemline or a clean asymmetrical hem at most. And if you're buying a casual dress, you know, that's a totally different story, but she wasn't here. Now a quick note on her actual outfit here. A pleated dress to me just literally looks like a pleated skirt worn as a dress, and that's what I think she did here because of the previous look. That's what I think she did. It's not a good look. I don't like it, and the whole thing just doesn't give a polished appearance. As some have pointed out, if you're pregnant or you have weight in your torso, pleated skirts or dresses are not the most flattering. And then this white blazer is also a bit long for what she was going for with this look. Editing outfits is very important. In the pageant space, they told us all to get dressed and then look for at least 1 or 2 things that you take off. Remove it or simplify it. Find a couple things to remove from your outfit or to simplify or to shift to a neutral. Doing too much at once is not a good look, but also the main thing is it does not photograph well. So if part of your job or your life is being photographed when you're out, then you should be mindful of how an item or an outfit will photograph. So here, that's just an example of this not being pulled off well. On to this gold dress that she wore at the New York City moment. I do not like it. The main thing that bothers me about this is it just enhances her inverted triangle shape. As you can see, you're immediately drawn to her very broad shoulders. Yes, she's super thin and skinny and dainty in some ways, but she has broad shoulders. When it comes to styling, you would want to balance that with some sort of volume in the skirt that's not too big, just a little bit, or, you know, maybe a flare somewhere, a peplum somewhere would look so much better. I'm not a huge fan of the texture of this dress or the color. It almost looked like a little bit of a greenish gold in some parts. That might have been like lighting coming down from the stage. I'm not sure. She once again told us how she used to watch Jeopardy. I don't mind the cutout. I do mind how tight it is, and I do mind that it's strapless. I also don't particularly like the texture of it or the color of it. Okay, I don't like the dress, okay? I don't like it. Strapless is really quite tricky for her. As you can see, this dress is so straight up and down, so it really exaggerates those wide shoulders and boxy frame even more. This fabric is stiff. As you can see, it looks like very stiff and almost uncomfortable. And it has all these linear patterns, a strong straight hem and slit, so it's really a rather angular and boxy dress. But so is her frame. So to contrast her square frame, some softer lines would have helped. Diagonal lines, curves, or flowy fabrics that bring that balance that she needs would have benefited here. I don't really like the shoes much either. I feel for her, a classic pump or a slingback is what looks best. It kind of helps to de-emphasize her feet, make them look a little less long and skinny. And these dainty lines across the foot and ankle just draw attention to the area that isn't needed. I do like her hair, and her jewelry is fine. As far as the color and texture or fabric of the dress, it doesn't photograph very well because, like, as I said, on stage it looked almost greenish, and here in Hertz it's looking absolutely yellow-green, almost neon, because it's reflecting the light. It does okay in the press pics though. I will also say, as you can see here, in some of the pictures she looks straight up orange, and in some of them she looks to have a more natural skin tone. This is what self-tanner does, or any sort of fake tanning, spray tanning, etc. Because it is on the surface, it's in the top layers of your skin, in the top upper layers of your epidermis, then it flashes out that tint or that orange color in certain lighting and with certain types of flashes. So it's not going to look natural in every picture. It's not going to be consistent. A lot of people talk about her spray tan being bad, and it's not that necessarily her spray tan is done badly, although in this case it is, because you can see her tan lines here coming up off of her bust area and over her shoulders, which is just, why would you do that if you're going to wear a strapless dress? But it's not always that her tan is done poorly. It's more so that doing a fake tan at all is an outdated thing that really people need to stop doing, because it does flash orange. If you're in a shadow and somebody is taking a flash picture from far away, it's going to make you look orange, no matter what you do and no matter who you are. That's why it's advisable to avoid spray tans. If you want a sun-kissed glow, you need to just get some sun. But really, we should all just be happy with the skin that we're in. She needs to stay away from always wanting the tightest things she can find, or always wanting to reveal parts of her body. I'm not against showing skin, but I am for dressing in a stylish manner, a classy manner. Wearing things that flatter your body is the main thing. And that takes knowing your body. It takes knowing your proportions. I'm working on a video right now about finding your proportions, and it'll show you exactly how you can find your own proportions that you can then use to kind of guide you into the zone of the best types of outfits to create balance for your proportions. And that's really all it's about. When Meghan is focused on showing skin, showing shoulder, showing whatever it is, she loses sight of balance. Because for her, something that's peplum or has a flare by the calf or a slight bit of a flare in the skirt, that's maybe a drop waist, is the best silhouette for her. Plus something that breaks up her broad shoulders a little bit, either a cap sleeve or a wide strap or sleeves in general. Those types of things really help to balance her figure. And skin tight is not almost anybody's friend. Really, honestly, skin tight stuff takes a great deal of undergarments to make it look perfect for these types of events where you're going to be showcased up on a stage and photographed or filmed. It just is what it is. It's not that I hate her as a human or hate everything she wears. It's that she is consistently choosing stuff that does not flatter her body And that's what my whole goal is with these fashion editions, is to help everybody see how best to balance your own body and proportions, because that helps outfits look so much better. And when we go out and we try on clothes and consistently find stuff that we think doesn't fit well for us or doesn't look good for us, we get down and we feel like we're never going to find stuff that looks good on us ever. And that's not a happy place. I want to bring you to the happy place where you are able to pick stuff up off the rack and find outfits that are actually within your zone. Things that are actually going to have a higher probability of working well. We can learn from Meghan's mistakes. So I really hope that you enjoyed chatting with me today. Thank you so much for being here with me. Have a happy day ahead, and I will see you next time.